Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Good morning, everyone. Who is Saturday morning in on the streets? Good morning, everyone. Dr. Olabintan here. I am the CEO, co-founder, Living Spring Family Medical Center, where we help people live long and well because we believe the quality of life is just as important as the quantity of life. It's a Saturday, and we're here having conversations on tips that will help you live a better quality of life, and also help you live long too, I believe so. So your skin looks good, you look great. That works. So I have the pleasure of having with me today Dr. Brenda Dintiman, who is a dermatologist. She's an amazing, phenomenal woman with a kind heart. And we're going to have conversations today on how to get glowing skin without breaking the bank. Dr. Brenda, thank you so much for coming. How are you doing this Saturday morning?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited that we're going to have some fun because one of my passions is how to keep your skincare simple and also not break the bank. We need to watch our money right now. We need to be thoughtful about what we buy and what we do.
I concur. I concur. Now, before we go ahead, those of you watching live, hashtag live. Those watching replay, hashtag replay. And if you don't mind, drop in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to see who's watching and from where. All right. You can also tell us who invited you for this event. And then if you know someone who could use this live, have a friend, just share this link with them, or you can tag them in the comments. Now, that being said, Dr. Brenda, do you mind introducing yourself, who are you, what you do, and why you do the things that you do?
I'm a board certified dermatologist. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I take care of people from age 0 to 102 because skin matters. It is the sign of your health from within. So it's very important for me to help people who have problems with eczema, psoriasis, acne, and skin cancer, as well as many other annoying things like itching and lots of different problems. So I am in Vienna, Virginia, and we call ourselves DermUtopia. The concept was utopia, to be able to find your dermatologist anytime, anywhere.
I like that, DermUtopia. I love it. I love it. And we have people watching from Staten Island, New York. Oh, good to see you. Personal testimonies. I love it. All right. So my first question to you is what are the biggest misconceptions people have about skincare? And I mean, you've had a lot of experience. So what would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about skincare?
I would think the biggest thing that is that people think more is better. And so the more products they have to address more concerns, that they're going to get better results. And that can be super costly and also cause a lot of problems like irritation and unhappy skin. And I think the second thing is that trendy is always better. And I sort of like always thinking about what's always worked, what's old school, and what we shouldn't forget about. So those are kind of some of the things we're going to talk about today. For example, a cleanser. Cleansing has been really hot over the last couple of years. Single cleansing, double cleansing. Personally, I was sort of a soap and water girl for many years, and sometimes just water. When you're running hard, you're getting ready to go to work, or when I was in med school. But the point is, I think you just need a simple cleanser that's gentle, because cleansers are not what's going to wash away your acne, wash away your pimples. So I am a big fan of the CeraVe products. They're easy to find. They're easy to find at almost any drugstore, Amazon, Target, wherever you like to shop. And they come with something for dry skin and also for oily skin. This happens to be the color that's the foaming cleanser for oily skin. It's very cost effective, gentle, and I think you'll love it. They also we also use a lot of Neutrogena. Neutrogena has some nice cleansers also. And again, you have to look and see if you tend to be super oily. You might be oily in the summertime in August, but then have to back off and use something more gentle in the wintertime. Our skin
Huh.
changes.
I didn't think about that. That's right. It gets harsher in the winter. So you okay. All right. Um, all right. So let's talk about habits. So what essential habits can people have? What are good habits that people can have to have glowing skin without high-end products? Now, we're not discrediting the high end products. Sometimes you want to bring it up a notch. But what are essential habits you say that are critical for glowy, beautiful skin, Doc?
Well, I think for everybody, like we said, you cleanse your skin in the morning and then
Okay.
you tend to put on a moisturizer. It could be extremely light, and especially in someone who tends toward oily skin, their sunscreen might be their moisturizer. A lot of the new moisturizer sunscreens have a light moisturizing effect, so you don't need an extra product. You get the right sunscreen, and there you have one product that does two things for you. So every morning, whether it's going to be sunny, whether you think it's going to be a beautiful day, you put your sunscreen on. And then at night, we tend to use a more active ingredient. The most common one is retinols or tretinoin. Tretinoin, because a lot of people have acne and that unplugs the pores. It helps with the texture and it also helps with pigmentation. Because many people will get brown spots or, discoloration after they get a pimple. And then they want to go and buy a whole bunch of lightening creams to lighten it. But the most important thing is prevention and consistency. So every day you put just a pea size at bedtime. If you tend to get too dry, you put a light moisturizer on. And then in the morning you wash your face and start again with your moisturizer and sunscreen.
Okay, I'm taking notes. All right. So retinol and that, and of course, these are medical suggestions. You should see your own doctor to come up with your own plan for you. But these are general advice. Um, all right, awesome. Are there any like foods you'd recommend or any lifestyle hacks that you see as good for your skin?
Sure. I mean, the same things that are good for your insulin, for preventing diabetes, avoiding uh, what I call those heavy, high glycemic foods, breads and pastas and rice. We love them so much, but you have to do them in small amounts because we actually know now that they trigger acne. I told people for 20 years you could eat your pizza because everybody thought it was the oil on the pizza that caused acne. I said, oh, no, no, eat your pizza. And I was wrong. The real answer is that pizza wasn't so good because of the bread and because of it increasing your insulin and triggering inflammation in your body. So that's a super important thing to do. Of course, greens and vegetables are going to help with vitamins. We need our B vitamins. I love pineapple. Pineapple prevents bruising. Did you know that? It has
Oh
bromelain in
no.
it. And papaya also prevents bruising. So a lot of our patients have, thin skin from a lot of sun damage that makes you bruise more easily, or they're on aspirin or blood thinners. So that would be an easy thing to add to your diet. It's healthy. It's going to also help you not bruise as much.
I love it. So whatever you use, because the skin is a large organ in the body, right? So whatever you do to take care of your heart, take care of your brain, your lungs, exercising, eating well, those things will help your skin. Yes. And I love to add fresh fruits and vegetables, and I love
And
papaya. So you're giving me more reasons to eat that, even so. Now,
yeah, I forgot that we also ask people to avoid dairy. That is also a very much a new thing. We ask our teenagers or anybody who tends to get a lot of cysts to avoid dairy because that has been shown to be a trigger for acne. We know acne is not caused by one thing. It's
mhm.
heat, humidity, hormones, stress, and now we know dairy too triggers.
Wow. Okay.
Alright.
So
I
we
know
can
you
do
have patients.
plant-based milk.
I'm sorry.
We can do plant-based milk.
You could do plant-based milk would be
Yes, ma'am.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. Excellent. Yes.
Okay, and for those of you who are watching, like, no, actually not actually not bad. You just adopt the idea and try it. You'd be surprised. I've had people try oat milk with their coffee, and they're like, you know what? I do have to. They have to put a little bit more to make it creamy, but it tastes fine. And coffee is so strong, it actually, drowns out. So try it. You'd be surprised. You may be pleasantly surprised that you can handle it. All right, so let's talk about preventing premature aging without expensive treatments. Any tips up your sleeve? I know we talked about some of them, but what are
Your number one product is sunscreen. Sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. But why don't people like to wear sunscreen? Because it looks white or makes you look gray or ashy. So you've got to buy tinted sunscreen. So here's one example. This is CeraVe tinted. And then this might be a little light for some people, but another great one is the La Roche product. It has a little blending tint that's very light. And you use it every day. You can even skip wearing makeup if you tend to wear makeup. And I get my male patients to do it too because they don't want to look like they have sunscreen on. And it'll sometimes help even out redness. So that's your number one anti-aging product will always be sunscreen. And I like mineral-based sunscreens, which means they have zinc, titanium, not a lot of the chemical. I don't like the oxybenzones. They're going to be taken out of the US sunscreens hopefully soon. They're already out of the ones in Europe because they have other irritating properties and maybe even some effect on the hormones in young women. So that's your number one step. And then at night, if you're going to add one thing that's been around 50 years, is either tretinoin, which used to be called Retin A, or retinols, because retinols will build new collagen and repair collagen that's been damaged. So I like to start people simple. You know, again, if you have 4 and 5 products in your drawer, you're going to use some days, some another, you're going to forget. And what you're really going to end up with is probably irritated skin. So simple is better.
Okay, let's talk about collagen. So there are a lot of collagen products, and do you have any simple, like, what are your thoughts on collagen? Let's say ingested collagen.
Well, I would say until this year, I would have said it doesn't work. And ironically, I just did a little post about that, that they are finding it increases collagen and elastin in the skin. You just can't do it alone. You've got to use your other treatments, your retinols, you got to use your sunscreen, laser procedures that help if you've already had damage. So I think it's a good complement. What do you think about it? Do you think it helps bones or any other inflammation in the body?
I actually use I use one. They're hydrolyzed, and so it's broken down so the body can adjust. And I found that it helped my skin look better.
Yeah.
And what I do is I take pictures to track.
Mhm.
And they also have plant-based supplements in it, like pomegranate and stuff. So that's another way I get my water in, because sometimes water is not exciting for me to drink. I shoot for 72 ounces, so by 30 ounces, I'm like, yeah, I need something to have flavor. So I use some collagen plant-based supplements, and they're hydrolyzed, so it should be broken down. I've noticed a difference. Now it could be other things I'm doing that's helping, but so far so good. But I'm a little leery about, because I've heard that sometimes your body doesn't absorb it; it's too heavy, so you just waste it.
Yeah.
So the hydrolyzed ones are better. But that's my I'm not a
Yeah.
dermatologist.
Well, like vitamin D has been
Mhm.
shown. We know I love vitamin D, but now that we know it helps acne also. So vitamin D
Wow.
is a natural supplement you could advise people take. I think most of us need vitamin D supplementation, and B6 has been shown to be helpful. The third one is zinc, but it's a little bit harder to tolerate. A lot of times people get a little nausea if they go too high on the zinc. So if you're going to do zinc, I would just do like a 30 dissolvable pill. Um, it's interesting, we have to talk about alcohol. There are many people who flush and get red and their skin looks angry and inflamed. And we know some people get it immediately after drinking, but ongoing alcohol use does seem to create almost like a ruddiness or a dullness. I literally had a male patient come in unsolicited. We were talking about other things. And I said, "You look so good. You look different. Something looks different." He goes, "I actually stopped drinking 4 months ago. And I just notice I feel better and my skin looks better." So, some of these things are antidotes. We don't know the right
Mm,
answer, but we can observe in our patients, like you're observing in yourself, what are things that seem to make us feel better and look better.
awesome. I bet you good sleep also helps too. Rest
Absolutely. Yeah.
helps. Please exercise. And eat good. Eat good.
Yeah.
Eat good. Now, dog, sensitive skin. Some people are watching and like, yeah, this all sounds good, but my skin is really sensitive to a lot of things. Any tips for those who have sensitive skin to manage it affordably?
Absolutely. I mean, this winter was brutal in many states. We're not used to super cold 11 degrees in Virginia. And everybody was coming in with itchy eyes, dry skin, their hands were cracking, especially if your work involves managing food or you like to cook at home. Your hands are going to get so raw and dry. So we are huge fans of Aveeno. I love Aveeno so much. If you have ever had dry skin yourself, you'll know that you often don't like putting things on. They sort of feel sticky and unpleasant. I find the people who need it most are the ones that have almost an avoidance to the way the products feel. I love Aveeno. It feels silky. I don't mind using it. I'm not going to feel too hot when I put the moisturizer on. So they have many versions. Let's just say you've been working in your garden and you've cracked your hands or put the mulch out. Mulch dries hands out and makes them crack. This is a heavier cracked skin relief, very affordable. You can use it on the tips of your fingers, your hands. It might be too greasy for all day long, but you can use it as a treatment. All of these are probably under $20. I love CeraVe lip balm. I really try to get people to avoid using chapstick. I have a secret thought that chapstick almost makes you lick your lips more and buy more
Really?
chapstick.
Okay.
I saw my husband use chapstick for 25 years. He never uses chapstick anymore. He uses Vaseline or CeraVe. Vaseline is probably the most cost-effective product out there that you can use to for your lips, for your nails, if you're feeling super dry. As long as you're not a big acne patient, you could use it on your skin to lubricate it.
That's the
And but
petroleum jelly one, right?
yeah,
The
plain petroleum jelly. Aquaphor is good too, but there are people who have lanolin allergies, but we're a fan of Aquaphor
Okay.
also.
Okay.
Um, and the most interesting tip that's come out over the last couple years is a brand called CLN. And this was devised because we always knew that babies who had eczema or people who have really bad eczema or folliculitis, pimples, that if we put like a cap full of bleach in a gallon of water and bathe with it, we can get rid of the normal staph bacteria that gets on our skin because the barrier of our skin has gotten damaged. Most of it's heredity. If you are born with a tendency to have sensitive skin, your skin cracks easier than other people's skin. It gets drier, even if you're just doing normal things. Washing your own hair, you could have dry hands. But we know that if the bacteria gets in the skin, staph that lives everywhere,
Hmm.
it'll keep the cycle going. It's like a super trigger for your eczema. So this has hypochlorous chloride, a little bit of almost like he devised a dilute bleach wash instead of having to make it yourself. But seriously, we always put the babies in the bath 3 times a week, and that would calm their eczema. And then you lubricate the
Oh,
skin. So remember,
okay.
when you get out of the shower, that's the best time to put your moisturizer on. You want to seal the moisture in, and use very little product, very little soap. I'm not a fan of like tons of fragrance products. Those are your biggest culprit for itchy skin. Fragrance, and many products now have even more fragrance because everything's trying to be natural and plant-based. I want plant-based in your diet, not on your skin.
Really?
Now that is frustrating because what smells so beautiful? Citrus and lemon and rosemary and lavender. I'm not saying you can't use it, but we're finding so many allergies from
Hmm.
products that have limonene, cinnamol, which is like cinnamon, clove,
Okay.
um, lots of fragrance. Even things that'll say fragrance free are
Free?
not fragrance free. We found out years ago that Dove had a masking fragrance in their soap to make it smell like it, act like it didn't have fragrance. So that's kind of tricky. And that's more important if you really know you have a lot of problems with fragrance. Um, so I think that's super important. The other one is Hydro Boost gel and Hydro Boost cream are excellent day-to-day moisturizers and very affordable.
Awesome.
Mm.
And thank you for
It's,
bringing the show and tell. Very
I
helpful.
know. I think it's helpful. I'll tell you my other favorite product. This is not just for babies, but this is a product. It's basically zinc oxide. Um, and I use it for babies and for your own body, for women and men that maybe you get more sweaty. And, I'm sure in the Houston summers, everybody's getting rashes. And it helps keep you from getting a baby from getting diaper rash and adults from
Mhm.
getting rashes under their breasts, on their bottoms. Say your job entails that you have to drive a lot or sit a lot or travel, or you like to go bike riding and you're riding in your exercise clothes for hours. You just take the product. You don't want to glob it on. It's unpleasant. You pat it wherever you're going to use it. And if I had water right now, I could just put it on my hand and it would just drizzle off. It creates a barrier, a natural
Mm.
barrier to protect your skin. Because you don't really have an infection half the time when you have redness under your breast or in the groin. You might have candida or yeast, but the first step is keeping the moisture off the skin. And I would say I do this probably 4 or 5 times a day showing patients, and they come back and they're better. That's an easy
Awesome.
tip. Um, the other thing I wanted to show you is we have so much problems with patients being itchy. I don't know if you've had it's just incredible. People are always itching. Now we look for a systemic cause of itching because itching can be a sign of thyroid disease, anemia, your iron's low, your liver's not working well, your
Mm.
kidneys aren't working well. Um, and it can be sadly also a sign of lymphoma. That's probably not, it's not as common, but we see it in intense, uncontrollable itching. But the most common thing I see is from dryness and also from skin that's gotten sun damage, so it doesn't hold moisture. And also the itching in the middle of the back drives people crazy, called paresthesia notalgia. And it's right, I can almost put my hand exactly where they're going to itch, the mid back. And that's the little nerve endings coming off our thoracic spine are creating
Mm.
tingling and itching in the skin. It can be very, very annoying, and it also make you not be able to sleep. So there are some over-the-counter products, Pramoxin, CeraVe, and then they have a menthol version. So if we go old school, menthol was a great product that grandma used or that our ancestors used. So it was so helpful because it was a distractor for the brain to not feel the itching. Now,
Mm.
what are you going to do if you can't reach your own back? You can go on Amazon, and there are back brushes. They're not really a brush. They're lotion dispensers that are somewhere between 10 and
Oh,
$15. You could load it up or apply it and reach your own back. Because we all know why bears rub against a wall. If you've ever itched on your back, you'll do anything to get that itch away. So I think those are super important. We can give people things all day long, but if you can't get it where you need it, what are you going to do? Not everybody has someone at home to help them.
thank you so much. This has been very, very helpful. And I have a very good question from a person of testimonies. Hi. She says, any suggestions for antiperspirants and deodorant, most especially for teens and young adults?
For antiperspirants,
Yeah,
um,
deodorant.
so it's interesting. I am not a fan of a lot of the natural products because I find they don't have antiperspirant in them
Yeah,
and they don't work.
they don't work, but
Okay,
it's in the
they're
natural.
okay to use as a deodorant, but you're supposed to pat your underarms dry, and you're supposed to put your antiperspirant on at night. So it's interesting.
Oh.
And you use a fairly strong one. Certain Dry is a stronger one. I will put a link in there for a newer one that has a chemical. I do not worry about aluminum. I am not one that worries about aluminum and breast cancer. I know that's very controversial, but it's not been shown to be true. I think it's very disturbing to have sweating, especially as a teenager. And also, you will get
Mm.
pimples and you will get yeast if the area is too wet. So that's probably the number one thing. We do use Botox or Xeomin in people that have severe hyperhidrosis, excess
Pepperosis.
sweating. and we inject under the arm, and it can last 6 to 8 to 9 months. That's something I've done and been very happy with patients. There are people, say you're in theater and you're on stage and the minute the lights come on, you're just full of sweat. I have patients who have gone through chemo and their scalp sweats so much it just runs down their face. So sometimes we'll inject the Botox or Xeomin
Wow.
onto the scalp. Uh, there are some topical glycopyrrolate. There's a glycopyrrolate that can be prescribed. It's a
Mhm.
compound we can have made for you, and they come in wipes, and there are pills. I mean, I don't want to get into other devices and things because those are not, for me, they would not be cost effective. You have to start simple.
Thank you. This is good. And you said antiperspirants could be used at nighttime. That
Yeah.
helps. Wow, cool.
And then you could use a
Cool.
deodorant in the morning, something
Morning.
fresh and a light fragrance that you like. I'm trying to think. I don't want to forget to show you this because this is a Skin Intensives is a bruise cream that was designed by two Harvard dermatologists. And I just love it. It has arnica in it and it has vitamin K and vitamin C. And literally, if you have a bruise, you can rub it on the bruise once a day, twice a day. You could do it 3 times a day and you'll see it start to lighten and go away. But I also have my patients use it preventatively on their arms and their hands because they're constantly bruising. Again, just walking into the room or picking up their groceries out of their car, the skin has gotten very fragile and it's disturbing to have constant bruises on your arms. Um, that's a really great tip. The other one, I don't want to forget to talk about scars. We already talked that preventing scars, you have to prevent acne. Over the counter, you can get the chemical adapalene or Differin.
Okay.
It used to be prescription. It's great for preventing pimples. But if you get brown spots, you have to use a sunscreen. Number three, the tretinoin. Tretinoin not only helps prevent pimples, but it also helps the pigmentation. But if you already have a scar from, say, you cut yourself or, you were playing sports and someone scratched you or, you can buy this over the counter on Amazon. This Stratamed or Strataderm company, I would get the orange one. And that is a siloxane or silicone gel that seals the scar and can even help small keloids go
Mm,
away.
yeah, keloid.
It's a big
Okay.
problem, and so it is not, it is a little pricey. It's probably about, for a tube this big, might be $45. But that tube will last you like 3, 4, 5 months. So it's a little bit of an investment. We can give them the link for the future. Of course, in the dermatologist's office, we would inject steroids, low dose into keloids to help flatten them. And some lasers also help. It can be super disturbing to have keloids, as you know.
Yes. Wow. Dr. Brenda, you've been a wealth of information.
Yes.
Um, time is up, but I have one more question. Um, okay. Wow. This She says, how can you address damaged skin when you have overactive bladder? I know it's not a popular subject, but some days are worse than the others. Please and thank you.
Oh, okay. That's a great question. I'm going to go back to some of my products here. Um, I would recommend getting the CLN body wash. It comes in green because it's antibacterial and anti-yeast, and that'll be an easy thing to wash with. And then, because I think what you're saying, because you have overactive bladder, and I'm glad you said it out loud because now many people going through perimenopause, menopause, or if you've had surgery, certain medications, you want to protect your skin. So this is the perfect thing to put the barrier on in the
That's a triple
creases.
paste, right? That a triple
That's the
paste?
triple paste. That's money.
Okay.
You're going to love that. And then also to have your doctor or dermatologist probably give you an anti-yeast product, cyclopyrox, um, econazole. There's this prescription because you're very vulnerable to getting yeast. Is that the question that's the answer you're looking for, or is there
Um,
other concerns?
Let me see. Does that answer your question? It said a damaged key with overactive bladder, but the triple paste sounds like it addressed. Let me see if she responds. Well, that's a good question. And then seeing your doctor also for something to help with that vaginal estrogen. I'm a big fan of. I'm starting to recommend that more and more, and asking women to please advocate for themselves by saying what the issues cause or prevent you from enjoying. Um, she said thank you. She said thank you so much. Yes. So she did mention here the Theolin body wash and the triple paste as a barrier cream. Um, but also I'd recommend maybe seeing your urogynecologist or gynecologist also to help address that issue from a preventive standpoint. Okay. Perimenopause, menopause can be an issue. I've seen women struggle through, but please advocate for yourself in your doctor's office and tell them what it's preventing you from doing so they can take it seriously. Okay?
And also avoid fragrance. Avoid a lot of fragrances when you're washing yourself, and avoid, bounce and fragrance in your clothing and your underclothes, because that's going to cause irritation. And you already have something that's causing irritation. We know now that methichloroisothiazolinone is a big allergen. I know that took me like forever to try to say that. MIMCI. And guess what? It's in a lot of the laundry detergents for sensitive skin. So we did some research, and the two that it's not in is all free and clear and
Yay, I just got that yesterday. Oops.
Arm and Hammer. But it literally was in the Wegmans sensitive skin. So we've seen a lot of allergens. So a lot of practical tips. Sometimes it's about taking things away, and sometimes it's about adding some simple things to your routine.
Arm and Hammer. All right. Doc, where can people find you? This was so good. Where can people find you to connect with you to say, hey, I like this doctor.
Yeah,
I'd like to
come
follow her.
Come follow me on Instagram. I'm at DermUtopia dermatologist. I'm also on Facebook. It'll transfer over, but mainly on Instagram. And we are in Vienna, Virginia. And also I have an app. If in certain states you can use our app to do a consultation. And love to see you in person.
Awesome. And she's also on dermutopia.com. All right.
Yes. Mhm.
Dermutopia. You're not far from Karen Kaufman.
She's in Maryland.
Oh,
I
I
don't
thought
know how
Vienna.
you guys where you are. We think of Maryland as like
Vienna. I don't know why I said Vienna.
No, I'm joking. We're in Maryland, DC, Virginia.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in Northern
Okay.
Virginia. Yes, yes.
Okay. And then I want to put your Instagram handle right here as well. Let's see. Okay, but thank you so much for doing this. This was very helpful. I took notes. I learned a lot of things that I'll use to also empower my patients as well. But thank you so much for coming on a Saturday morning to have this conversation. Can you guys and ladies, can you show her some love in the comments? Appreciate her. She's a busy woman. She chose
Yeah.
to do this on a Saturday
No, it's
morning.
wonderful. Avoid trendy, no beef tallow, no apple cider vinegar. Get your
I saw.
Aveeno products, your CeraVe, okay? Save that money. Save that money for something else, okay? Have a
Oh
wonderful
my
day.
goodness. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much for coming, Doc. I appreciate you. And thank you to our viewers for watching, for the comments, for the engagement, for the questions. As always, sharing is caring. Please share this with your friends and loved ones. And if you are looking for an awesome and a thorough family physician who will have conversations like this, excuse me, to help you live long and well, I am she. Have a good one, everyone. Have a good one. This was good.